Footy's back. Ba-da-da, ba-ba, ba-da-da, ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba. Footy Unfilterated. G'day, legends. I'm your host, James Clements. Up here, they call me Tropical Jim. I don't actually. We're not doing the video, so you can't see. What have I got? The Hawaiian shirt. And there's one button done up on this shirt. No shoes, in shorts. The really cool thing is on the other side of this screen from me is everyone's favourite, absolutely freezing his balls off Essendon fan. And the cool thing is his team is going great, just like mine. It's Jez. Jez, what's going on?
Well, I'm still defrosting. I've been in the microwave for 45 minutes on high trying to warm up. It is actually cold. And I've lived in Ballarat for 12 years, Jim, and I'm complaining about Melbourne cold. That's where things are at here. So I think it's time for me to start planning an annual warmer climate trip like yourself and thaw out a bit.
It is worth it. I
Yep.
am basically just out here going, you know what's pretty good? Not being cold.
Yeah.
And not being forced to watch my team be horrible up against the Hawks. That's it. We're going to talk about round 18 real quick on this show. Footy is fully back, I'll tell you what. We'll do some... What are we going to... We're literally just going to wrap up the week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got some awards here, Jez. I've got none. I don't really care. And then we'll preview we'll preview round 19, which would be good too, because there's some really good games that week. So I guess, without further ado, let's just get into it. It's footy without the bull. It's footy unfilterated. All right, Jess. So, round 18 in the bag, and my old man, I left him with the squids. He fell over in the kiddie pool today, so I don't know how responsible he is, but, Scunny's knee.
We've all had a moment where we've fallen over in the kiddie pool. The reason why is it doesn't matter. We don't need to know why. It's just, let's just leave it at, we get one and then you move on.
Yeah, it's fine. The baby squid was fanging around on the top of this, a gecko, a big concrete gecko in the middle of the kiddie pool. And the baby squid's like, whoa, look, I might fall over. And then the old man goes in, that's all right, I'll say, and then just axed himself going in. It was pretty funny.
Nice.
He has survived for now, which is good. But anyway, on the way over here, so full disclosure, I'm using it's not Larry Armour Studios at the moment. This could be the,
Larry Armour Studios from Temu.
Cabin 3 Studios in Mission Beach, Queensland. There you go. And on the way over, the old man's like, oh, so what are you going to talk about tonight? What are the big stories? I'm like, you know what? I feel like we've managed to maybe just sort of dodge anything of real import this week, where we have the weekly whinge. And basically, all we really got this week, Jez, was like the one weird screw up from that one umpire who then got time and time again thrown under the bus by the AFL, which is always very good of them to do that. And again today got thrown under the bus. Hey, he's umpiring again this week. And you're like, better turn the comments off on that one. Well, I'm just saying. What are you doing?
It is something that the AFL are becoming very, very skilled at, is the comment turning off on social media posts. I've noticed it more and more lately. The other one too is I've just finished submitting my application for the official watcher out for buses at AFL House, so that I can let them know when the bus is about to go past, and they can just throw whoever they're throwing under the bus at that particular point. So it's a paid position, I believe. So look, I think I've got the skills to make it work.
Great upper body strength.
So I'll keep you guys updated on how I go with that in the selection criteria.
And I think the only other sort of one with this week was that we had Narendra Modi, the PM of India, visiting Australia. And the AFL is very, very keen to get a foothold in India to the point where they're donating 10,000 sherrins to India, which I'm pretty sure equates to 0.0001 sherrin for every kid in India. Actually, no, there's one more zero in there. My bad. No, two more zeros. Bloody hell.
Well, they can always cut them into 4. They can actually cut each sherrin into 4 down the stitching, and then, they'll go a little bit further.
Then if you made that sherrin, if you rolled it up into a ball, those 4 bits of the sherrin, roll it up into a ball as well, and then you throw it at somebody who might have some sort of have a bat. I mean, they'll probably like it more. It was rightly pointed out, though, that 10,000 sherrins would probably go a pretty long way, Jez, in local footy. I'm just saying.
Yep. When you consider that just about every single local footy club has to pay money from their members and sponsors to buy footies every year.
Yeah. Felt a bit on the nose, didn't it? Just felt a little bit on the nose. It's like, it's okay. The AFL is still really tone deaf. And there is...
I think the average price of fees for junior footy is about $300 per child. So, and that covers everything from registration and insurance. There's not much left at the end of the day that the clubs actually get out of that money, Jim. So then they've got to go and, rely on these people who have got full-time jobs to give up what spare time they have to go and source money from other businesses who, out of the goodness of their heart, agree to give this money to said football club so they can purchase these footballs that the AFL are just throwing at Indian presidents. So it beggars belief how much disdain the AFL has for its own grassroots community. It's like they wish they didn't exist. Can we just have them all go to private schools and not worry about these other peasants who play on these mudded grounds that have got uneven goalposts and 65-year-old semi-retired carpenters doing the lines wonkily, and they've lost touch with the common folk, Jim.
This is also an argument, though, about sport in general, I think, from that sort of perspective, right? I think the USA has just come to a bit of a reckoning with its own soccer team because the World Cup is going on, you see, Jess. Yeah. I mean, it's being hosted by the USA, Canada, and Mexico.
Oh, and
yeah, I mean, it's been in the news a bit.
Oh, right. I must have missed it. Must have been on that little bit at the end next to when they have a dog riding a skateboard.
And this is it has been a very, very interesting conversation. Brazil is fallen off a bit of a cliff in terms of their international talent. The USA as well, and a lot of these different countries, like the NBA. We've covered this ad nauseum in the old NBA Australia, but yeah, when pathways become almost the exclusive terrain of the rich kids, it's not good. Yes. And that's one thing with AFL and Aussie rules in general is that I think for a very, very, very long time we've been very good at sort of, figuring out where talent is. But then in the last 15 years, it's sort of all been funneled into footy factories. Oh, it's the footy factory at St. Pat's. It's the footy factory at Xavier. Just so many footy factories. You know what? It'd just be nice if kids could go to a school and just play footy and be really good at it and not have to go to a private school at the same time to be found and brought into specific academies, etc. So I don't know. It's one of those things that it's hanging over the head of a lot of sports, and the AFL has to be pretty wary of that as well. So just saying, grassroots footy, you got to protect it at all costs. Anyway,
100%.
Speaking of grassroots, who's going to be the bloke who leads the Tassie Devils from the very get-go, Jez? We've got what do we got? Second round interviews. Personally, I haven't had too many of those. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
it's not something that I've ever had to deal with in the trade sector. It's usually show us that you can do the job, we'll give you a job. If you can't, on your bike, son.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, this hiring process is actually going to happen. It's not just smoke and mirrors for while they wait for the right time to announce James Hird as coach. So yeah, who do you reckon it's going to be? Like just right
So
now, if you were picking right now, Jim, who would you say is the favourite for the job? Who they would if they were announcing tomorrow? Who would you say it would be?
I reckon 2 days ago I probably would have said Bucks. So Nathan
Mm-hmm.
Buckley, Ken Hinkley, John Longmire are like the three sort of leading,
Yeah.
folks in the clubhouse. It very much seems like Ken Hinkley is been a little bit more thrust to the fore in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days out of nowhere, with a lot of he's got the common man's touch. He has already launched an expansion team, like all these sorts of things.
Mm.
We're like, I mean, I guess, but
Isn't he from Tassie?
what is he? He's from,
Or maybe he's Geelong.
I think he's a small town bloke, Ken Hinkley. Is that
Which is
Camperdown?
if he's
I want to
from
say.
Geelong, if he's from that area, it's basically Tassie, but on the
Yeah,
mainland.
yeah, it's mainland
I
Tassie.
think you're right.
Like,
I think Camperdown.
but still, I think Hinkley might be the man right now who's probably got the lead.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah,
I
you're
kind
right.
of think
Camperdown, Victoria.
there you go. Look at that off the top of my head.
Not bad, Jim. Not bad.
That's why I get paid the big bucks. Tropical Jim. I reckon, like long term, I feel like Bucks is probably the best pick.
Yeah.
The other two are much older. Bucks has already sort of. He's much the same as Michael Voss, right? Tried and failed, and then his successor has taken them to much greater heights already.
Mm.
But I feel like he's a very astute footy brain. The respect that he engenders is very good.
Mm.
And I feel like if you're going to go, all right, who could still also be the coach of this team in 10 years' time?
Yeah.
Bucks is probably the guy rather than Longmire or Hinkley, who are, on the higher level of the age scale here. But there is something to be said, as we've just talked about. Community footy, rallying the community behind you. Ken Hinkley was beloved in Port Adelaide for many, many, many years, despite so
Not
many
really
stumbles. so many stumbles.
Much. Yeah.
And then, it's because of his affability. He's very good with the media. He's good with the players. He's good with the fans, all the commercial sponsors, and that's kind of what they need. So
I think Hinkley's very similar to the appointment of Sheedy at GWS, where they needed
100%.
they didn't necessarily need a coach, because obviously they'll have assistants and all that sort of stuff and probably an assistant in mind to take the reins once they're established, similar to what happened with Leon Cameron. So yeah, I think you're right. I think Hinkley, with his media savvy and good guy vibes, would probably be the hire. But I see what you're saying with Buckley. I think out of the three of them, Buckley is probably the better coach, and that might be an unpopular opinion, hot take, whatever you want to call it. Because if you look at Longmire, he coached Sydney for a long time and won one flag, which you could argue is off the back of a list that was built for him, not by him. Hinkley, there's no doubt he did a good job because Port were putting banners over seats and, people were starting to talk about them being relocated to Tassie or Darwin, and then he came in and along with everyone's favourite financial advisor, Koshy, they got the cash cow and went and turned the club around. And you got to give him credit for that. But the reality is he couldn't convert on field to anything more than a few preliminary final appearances that they probably weren't tipped to make. But Buckley, even though he had a tough gig taking over from Mick Malthouse, being a Collingwood favourite son. it was win a flag or fail, and so that's where you mark him pretty hard because he couldn't do it. Same as his playing days, he couldn't do it. He couldn't get across the line. So maybe just the fact that he is coaching somewhere that's not Collingwood could be the thing that tips him over. And so if I was there and just judging by what we've seen in the media, which is all we can judge by because that's all we've seen, I would probably start off with Hinkley as your head coach, your figurehead, and have Buckley in the background actually doing the job. And if you could somehow convince them to do that, I think that would be a really good place to start for a new club.
Yeah, not bad. I also like that John Longmire is only 2 years older than Nathan Buckley.
It's crazy, isn't it?
They do not look 2 years different, just saying. Other bits and bobs and news. What do we got? A couple of reports. The Hornet.
Yeah.
Big hit on Liam Stocker. Look, I'll pay that. He probably deserved it. That should be just a fine. It's just Liam Stocker, mate.
I think there was also Jack Crisp who was cleared of I think it was a hip and shoulder that when I saw it, I was like, play on, carry on. But I've seen a few reports that there's a bit of Collingwood bias in the in the match review, that it always seems to be Collingwood players getting off. I don't know about that, but anyway, I giggle at some of the takes that these so-called professional journalists come up with.
Speaking of which, Billy Frampton was also reported. He will likely, I think they were challenging that. Yeah, that's right now, I think so.
I'll have a quick squeeze and see if there's any updates.
Be pretty handy if he missed against Carlton, I'm just saying, because he's the sort of guy who pops up and just like causes havoc at one end or the other for the Blues each time they play. So would be kind of nice. But, I don't know. I want to put it nicely, but he also does, like, when you've got Braden Maynard already on your team, you can't have a Billy Frampton-looking dude on your team as well, because you're like, I don't know, man. Which side were your ancestors on in the 40s? So I'm just I'm a bit worried. Anyway, there was obviously the big injury news this week is we have a bunch of them. And you got Zach Butters with his high-grade syndesmosis. What was it? Lockie Schultz had the low grade. It came out today that he might be back before the end of the season. But Butters, pretty rough one, had surgery already. He wants to be back for the final week.
He could play, the final week. But I don't know. I don't see the point other than maybe a farewell game.
That's what it seems like, because I don't know if Porter will be in the hunt for the wild card still, but they are playing Essendon in that final week. So maybe one more stomping and then he can
happen is he could trip over one of the black and red witches' hats.
On his way to the Tigers or the Dogs or whoever, really. That's an off-season question. But Butters, it was a horrible-looking injury, and it was kind of like the fact that it was only a syndesmosis injury where it's like, what are they, usually 6 to 8 weeks. He reckons he wants to be back within 4, which seems very optimistic, but it could have been much worse.
And at the time, it could have been worse timing either, because one of the guys from work was actually at the game as a Saints fan, the poor fella. But he was saying that he hadn't done much in the first half and he came out in the second half and absolutely dominated, then hurt himself, and basically any chance Port had of going on to win the game ended then and there. So it's going to be a massive out now, and if and when, which let's be honest, it's probably when he leaves the club, it's going to be a big hole to fill. And I'm not sure that the guys like Connor Rosie have got enough to actually fill it.
Yeah, it's like they also lose, Mitch Georgiades, he's out as well.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
They're just some absolute hiding to nothing. They're going to be missing like 4 or 5 of their best 6 players, I reckon, against Freo this week. So a bit of a rough one. Jezza Cameron, he's out with an AC injury.
That was rough.
It looked very tough. That's at least a month for him. which
He was playing well down back too.
was a weird one. The surprise move down back, and look, the Cats, a little bit of struggle down, but I don't know. He looked all out of sorts anyway, so maybe the month off will hopefully,
Well, they've also got Jack Henry and who was I can't remember what he did, and Tanner Bruin who hurt his
stayed
neck.
in
They were
hospital,
worried
right?
about his neck, and I heard a report today that they're potentially in line to play this week, which is
Sure.
yeah okay, cool.
Chaos there at the Cattery, but good on him. Well, yeah, like 3 of them didn't fly home after that game.
Well, that
which
was
is
the 3. It was
yeah,
Jezza and Jack Henry and Tanner Bruin, which is
and for them to be playing is just crazy. But anyway,
yeah.
Bailey Dale is out, or as we call him, Daily Bale, out for at least the rest of the home and away season, I think, with the shoulder injury. They felt like it was going to be okay. Then they found a fracture in it when they looked at it closer, which is probably what doctors should do. I think. Look at it closer. Go, oh, actually, yeah, it's no good.
Wait a minute. What's that little thing there on the... Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, look, he's got a... Hey, come on. He's got a fracture. I told you.
And then George Hewitt was out of the game on the weekend against the Hawks. He's been our best player basically since Michael Voss got sacked. And he might play this week because he was telling folks that it was back spasms that sat him out of that Hawthorn game. So it'd be really good to have him.
He's just at that point where he saw how wet it was going to be and went, nah, I'm good. Thanks, fellas. I'm too old for this.
100% what he should have done and what I would do. Just nah.
It's what I do if I get home and I look at the dog and I look at the rain outside and I go, sorry, mate, not happening. Too old for this shit.
And the last one, I guess, to keep an eye on is like what Nick Dacos with his he was getting his buttock massaged a lot at the end of that game. He still had a really good final quarter. They wouldn't shut up about how injured he was, though, but he still kept delivering. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see how much he beats Carlton by next week. All on his own. All right, let's quickly wrap up round 18. What happened? We had one of the great games of the home and away season back on Thursday night.
This was nuts.
Freo Sydney 1-2, a record crowd over there at Optus Stadium. Freo had 11 points in the first half and they finished with 111, coming from the clouds to belt Sydney 111-73. Yep. And the 73 is more flattering than anything because you had who was it kicking the goal at the end? Why is his name completely escaping me? Jake Lloyd, I want to say.
I can't think. I think I might have actually been asleep by then.
Pretty sure it's Jake Lloyd. Yeah, they played the song, Jez. They played the song.
I think I nodded off by then.
They're playing the heave-ho, and then they had to cut it because the umpire's like, nah, he's having a shot for goal. It's like, it's 111-67.
It's not going to affect it.
But I guess, in terms of the, percentage, it is important to not lose by, 44 versus, I want to say 38. 38? Yeah. That's why they call me Jim the Math Magician while they're not calling me Tropical Jim. But this game was sick. Like 0-11, Freo hadn't kicked a goal in the first half. 0 for 11. 0-11 rather. And then the floodgates. Jez, they opened.
They still dominated the first. Well, not dominated, but I felt they were on top, but just could not kick the goal. And I thought, this is becoming a problem for them because obviously they've had issues kicking straight, and then they had the down week against GWS, and then all of a sudden the pressure's on, and they're going to lose 2 in a row, and then the second half when they came out and I thought, they're going to do that old Ross Lyon and Paul Roos thing where they just turn the game into an absolute slugfest. And I thought, you know what? I'm up for this. I think this will be good. It'll be interesting to see how Sydney respond. And then all of a sudden, Freo went, nah, actually, watch this. We're pretty good. Check this out. Oh, hang on. Check this out. And just, it was actually good to watch. It was,
the 1-2
Sydney had no answers.
The 1-2 cost a zoo. Like Sydney came out like Conor McGregor at the start of that fight in the second half and just blew their knee out and went home. It was crazy. that was, Grundy and Heaney were really good in the first half and then just went completely MIA. And Freo, it just felt like it was inside 50 after inside 50. And suddenly Tracy and a miss and the Prancing Pony, who, wow, do they want to make the Prancing Pony a thing?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, here comes the pony. And he's just running and celebrating like every other player. It's like, BT, you need to take a big cup of settle the F down and just scull it for me, would you there, big fella? Thanks, mate. It was a bit brutal. Anyway, huge win. Awesome win. Chaotic win. Freo might never lose again. Yeah. We're back on that train.
I'll tell you what, Jim, just if Josh Tracy could kick straight, he might be 25 goals ahead in the Coleman right now.
Yep.
Because he is just... Anyway, carry on.
Can play. Collingwood 89, North Melbourne 85. Really, really, really fun game that North Melbourne should have won. But North Melbourne did not win, which was... Yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
Really. This was a really awesome game, however.
Yeah.
And it's kind of almost exactly what we expected, where it's a Collingwood home game at Marvel. The place was packed. North were right there, had a big lead in in the fourth quarter. A big lead. I mean, they're up by like 10 or like 9 or 10 or whatever, after having wrested control back from the Pies. But that was the way the game went. Like, no one really went foot to throat the entire time. The Pies got up by a little bit in that third. Roos came flying back, and then somehow the Pies with that member Tim Memberberry.
Yeah, I remember him.
I remember. Membry boots that. Was it Crisp and then Membry just go 1-2 Costa Zoo and
clutch goals.
It was brutal. It's tough watching that for the Roos fans who thought they might have snuck out a win there. But again,
I think North were really good, and I think this is we've sort of spoken about them needing to play like a team that is no longer rebuilding, and I think this is one that they would probably think they should have won, but at the same time, you're playing against a team who knows how to win close games, and they clearly do it as well. Even now at the stage where they're at, not as good as they have been in the previous years, they do it as well as any other team in the comp. If they're within a couple of goals late enough in the game, you never write them off. I thought North were really, really good. I actually thought they took a little bit, maybe not a full step, but maybe a half step in the right direction with this game. There's, you look at the players who weren't that great. Like Sheasel had by his standards, was pretty down. There was Caleb Daniel was nowhere to be seen. There was a few other players that in previous weeks when they've been getting thumped or against the teams that they should beat have been really good. They weren't there, but they still managed to keep it close. So that says to me that some of the other peripheral players are starting to stand up and do their job. So I think that's a good sign for North, and be interesting to see how they go for the rest of the year. Yeah,
good shout. I love, like, they've got such a weird forward mix with Suva, Paul Curtis, when Zerha's up there as well.
Trembath.
You've got Trembath sort of floating in and out of the ruck. Like this week it felt pretty interesting because there was a lot of Cherry in the ruck versus Cameron, where they felt obviously pretty confident about Cherry being able to go with Cameron and like not being at a crazy athletic disadvantage against some of the other ruckmen that he might go against. So, but it was like it was a really good tussle, an awesome Friday night footy game. They kept banging on about, this is like North Melbourne haven't played in a Friday night footy. Yeah, it's like they play every Good Friday. What are you talking about?
I think that's a Friday afternoon game, Jim, or a Friday evening. Whereas this one's a Friday night game, and it's not a Good Friday
time.
So you've got to be specific with these ridiculous. I mean, these important stats, Jim.
I took a dip in the Pacific today.
Okay.
I was very Pacific. Right.
Croc bait.
I enjoyed that. I did enjoy scaring the crap out of the squids. There was a big log just in the water, and I don't think the oldest one had seen it yet. And so, I'd also, bit of a double take at it. It's like, oh yeah, that's a log.
Now, hold on. Are we talking about crocodile size or polywaffle size?
Yeah, bit bigger than a polywaffle.
Not Chiquito.
So as the big squid turned around, I grabbed him and chucked him. I was like, "Look out!" And classic dad stuff. That'll scar him for life. Anyway, St Kilda 87, Port 73. The Naz Kalwilkie. This is just a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, Brad Hill going off his head. The Saints had this one, I think, pretty easily sewn up, didn't they? And then it was sort of like, ooh, hang on, what's going on? And that's right. They're up massive at the half, 61-25. And so I'm just like, I think we're all right. And then I remember checking the scores and at 3/4 time, it was 73-65. You're like, bloody hell, what just happened? And so Port fought all the way back, but as you said earlier, right, like once they lost Butters, it all sort of just went into a bit of a funk and they could never really get over the hump, which is, I don't know, feels like it's important if you want to win the game to actually get in front.
This is true.
Hornet getting suspended, not good for them this week. It's probably Port's season done now.
I think it's going to be hard to get anywhere from here.
It was probably done a couple of weeks ago, but this was the proverbial nail in the coffin. But the Saints, look, they keep their season alive, which is, I mean, frustrating as a Blues fan because I was kind of hoping that the Power could help us out and slug them with one more loss. But, with Power 2 wins behind kind of everybody else in that 10 through 14 range, 10 through 13 and then Gold Coast as well. It just sort of is a bit ugh. Whereas the Saints, they had to win it. They did.
Yeah.
Wasn't wildly convincing.
They're doing what they have to. No.
I don't know. Here we are. GWS came back from basically 39 points down against the Cats. And we probably should have been on this stat earlier, how they apparently just don't lose to Geelong when they're playing at home against the Cats. So that was a bit, should have been on top of that. And came absolutely flying back out of nowhere with another one where I'm like, oh, this game's done. And then check back in and it's like, hang on, what the hell's going on? And bang, off they went. Yeah, 39 points down in the third quarter. And then Jake Stringer, Bedford. And then in the fourth quarter, you got Riley Hamilton and Calvin Brown goals, Briggsy.
I saw this. So I did some work on Saturday and didn't watch the St Kilda Port game, but heard it was not great. This one I actually switched on and was sort of watching and listening to in between running a few errands before I went out for the night. And I got home and Geelong are miles up, went and sort of, hopped in the shower and got ready and all that sort of stuff. And I come down and they're going to be close. I think Geelong got it. And mate picks me up. We go around to another mate's house. I pull up in the driveway just before. And GWS won. And he's gone, no, they didn't. I went, they did. They did. I was dead set. I was sitting there rubbing my hands together going, I'm going to be able to give Jake Stringer Spud of the night. And, I saw Sean Manor was on fire, kicking goals out of his behind with his pants down. And I thought Geelong are going to smash them. They've got this in the bag. And, that was probably the biggest surprise of the weekend for me.
Yeah, it was crazy. Massive come from behind win.
I mean, I did tip them. I'd just like to make that very clear that I tipped GWS in both our tipping and in my tipping, which I did get 9 out of 9 this week in my other tipping comp. So, feel free to follow my tips, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. That's huge. I mean, for GWS, it's massive.
Yeah,
again,
massive.
keeps their season alive.
Well, I think now, Jim, they are actually percentage outside of 10th spot. So you've got the Saints on 106% and the Giants on 101, and then your mob and North on 91% in 12 and 13.
Yeah.
Which I think that's, and then you've got Gold Coast in 14 on 28, but I think they might be cooked.
Yep.
We'll obviously talk about them shortly.
To be honest, we could just fang through the rest of their games. Like the Blues were pathetic against the Hawks. They had that one rush behind in the entire second quarter in the pelting rain.
Yeah.
And did nothing else really after that. It
was not a great game to watch. It wasn't a great game to watch.
Old mate and I went out for dinner and sort of got back and I'm like, yeah. I think we're good.
We ended up playing darts and not really watching it.
103.39, jeez.
Yeah, 64. And it was, at one stage, looked like it was going to be more. So I think the foot off the gas came along. And the next game, Jim, was just as ordinary. I didn't watch any of it, but I was following along, and it's...
Watching the final quarter of this, I just felt bad. Damien Hardwick yelling at fans in the crowd there at the Adelaide Oval. 128-49, the Crom belted the Suns. Yeesh. Yeah. That's basically the Suns done. And then we talked about Sunday, how it could set a record for margins. The Dogs only beat the Eagles by 16 at Marvel, 86-70, which was a bit of a how you going. And they were trailing in the fourth quarter. And you're thinking,
I was following this. Yeah.
Boil over?
I was following this when my son played, and I was like, hang on a minute. And I had to time keep for Zach's game, so I couldn't. If I wasn't, I probably would have been sitting there watching it because the game my son was playing in was pretty ordinary. They only beat, they're on top of the ladder, and they beat the bottom team by 2 points and had to come from behind to do that. So I think the word complacency was mentioned several times by the coach in his bake after. But anyway,
little bit like the Dogs.
Very much like the Dogs. I think that was a bit of what was going on here. I actually, for a moment there, I was like, come on, West Coast. Come on, do it. Get it done. But they just couldn't hold on.
It's another one where if the Dogs had have dropped that, it would have helped like that 7 through 14 teams immensely, sort of just like bunch up even more. But because they hold they kick the last 3 goals or whatever, and they sort of snuck away with the win.
And their percentage is 92 because of all those thumpings they got when they had their injury crisis. So had they lost, they'd be sitting in 9th, a game clear of the Saints, but percentage. So then your mob. The Giants and the Saints, basically, I think you guys are very similar percentage, but that keeps you in the mix. But now that they've kept that game in hand, they're a game ahead of Geelong. Obviously, Geelong got them on percentage, and then a couple of games ahead of St Kilda. So they're in a pretty good spot right now, as long as they don't do too much wrong for the rest of the season.
And then the later two games, Melbourne won by 46 over the Tigers, 111-65, smashing. And then an absolute deletion of the Dons by the Lions, 149-59. Will Ashcroft, Lachie Neale, everybody running rampant. And, that was...
Everyone except an Essendon player.
That was...
It was hard to... I watched the whole lot, Jim. I forced myself to sit there and watch, and... Oh, boy. It was...
brutal.
Can we move on, please?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's do some awards quickly. Gablett Areas. Who's your best on ground of the week here, Jez?
There's a lot of... For once, this round was very ordinary, I think, as far as some of the games, except for the ones we mentioned. But I did manage to pick one out of the ordinary games, and it was Jack Ginnivan, who had Ginnivan, 25 disposals and 3 goals on a wet night. He was actually the one who broke the Blues with his play early on. I think he actually kicked the first 3 of the game. But he was in everything and really set the game up early for Hawthorn, and they just did what they had to do and kept it nice and big margin wise.
Yeah, outscored the Blues, I think, in the first half. Who are you buying a beer this week?
Oh, I've got a couple I'm going to buy a beer for. Jezza Cameron, I felt for him. Had an absolute shocker spud of the week before, and then gets thrown down back, which I thought was a really good move, and it seemed to be working very well. And I think it's something that you might see Geelong do in the future, especially with these rising stars of Shannon Neal and whatnot down in the forward line. He obviously reads the ball well, so why not use him as an option to go back if needed. But also the Suva, he's had the yips, he's down on confidence, but I thought he kept going on Friday night, and he could have quite easily kicked 6, I think, but I think he ended up with 1 goal, 5. But you can just see that the desire's there for him to lead his team to success, and he's just struggling a bit with his own form. And so, yeah, just buy him a beer, put my arm around him and say, keep going, big fella, you'll get there. So, but yeah, I think Jezza had enough of the green whistle. I don't think he needs any beers. I think you look pretty happy with that green whistle.
Yeah, he'll spew his guts up after a beer on that, won't he? Jeez. The Ben Mackay,
Exactly.
the Ben Mackay spud of the week. Who you got, Jez?
Well, I have to have a special mention, even though he didn't play in the AFL team. Our good friend Ben Mackay, he played in the VFL in a win, but his stat line at halftime, Jim, playing in the forward line on a retired ex-AFL defender, was 1 handball.
Whoa.
1 handball, and I believe he only ended up with 3 disposals for the game.
Jeez.
So he is. There's a separate outside the AFL award, and the award is a truckload of manure being delivered to his driveway as we speak. But from the same team, he's clearly checked out and has already, looking at where he's going to fit into the Hawthorn side next year. But he was nowhere to be seen on Sunday. He wasn't alone, obviously, but for a bloke who has won 7 of our best and fairest and probably averaged 30 touches a game for his, for the past 10 years, to only have 11 disposals and no impact on a game where we were never going to win, but it would have been nice to see him at least go out there and have a crack. That just says to me he is already out the door.
Yeah, that's a bloke playing not to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, better than Bootsma.
Well, we've got the rat tail, Riley Hamilton, for the GWS. He's bringing back the rat with him and old mate from Hawthorn. But in his second game, he had 15 disposals, kicked a couple of goals, and had 7 score involvements. So I was pretty impressed with that. And the team that ended up winning the game too. But I just love the ratty.
I keep trying to convince the older squid to go the full Josh Weddle, or like Nick Blakey, or like I need to give him an interesting haircut.
You could always throw back to the dusty cut.
I think his hair's too long and curly for that, but I think some sort of
He's
flying,
got a bit of Nick Blakey about him.
Yeah, he's got a bit of the Blakeys. So
yeah.
Anyway, love a good rat's tail though. Right. So let's look ahead to round 19. It's a remarkable, what do we got? How many weeks is that left? 6? 19, 20, 20, 19, 20, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 6. Good job, me. That's why they call him Tropical Jim and not Mathematician Jim. We start off, though, with a very good Thursday night game down at Taxpayer Stadium. Geelong St Kilda.
The ramifications, Jim, the ramifications.
It's a really big one. Because the Cats are currently 9th on the ladder. 9th.
9th at 36 points.
We could have banged on about this a little bit more, how big that loss was to GWS. But it's the sort of thing that knocks them down from essentially, like as we just talked about with Western Bulldogs, right? Had the Dogs lost that game, they're staring down the barrel of being exactly where Geelong are, where they're 9 and 8. And if they lose this is a classic 8-point game, Jez. I love a good 8-point game.
It is, Jim. It is. They could have ended up being as high as 4th after this round had they won that game against GWS. That's what was on the line for
Crazy.
them, is a top 4 spot. And I think they've cost themselves a chance at a top 4 spot.
Well, yeah, they're now 2 games back of the top 4.
Mm.
Well, they're 2 games back of the top 6 now, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
the
And only a game out of missing altogether.
So they they seem to be trending the wrong direction. And 12.5, even at home on a Thursday night in Geelong, 9th versus 10th all of a sudden. How do we feel about this, Jez? Can you trust the Cats to win by more than 12.5 against the Saints?
In short, yes. And the reason being, I haven't seen anything I like from St Kilda. They should have absolutely torched Port Adelaide, especially after Butters went down, and could only just keep them away. And I think Geelong, down at Geelong, coming off a couple of losses, I don't think St Kilda at this point are in the same league as your GWS. And who else Brisbane beat them down there 2 weeks earlier. They're no Brisbane Lions. So I think Geelong will win this one by about 5 goals.
Yeah, I've got, this for me screams, what are they going to do without Jeremy Cameron? And then Shannon Neal kicks 5 goals.
I think they'll be fine without Jezza.
Ollie Henry just goes off his head or something. And yeah,
Ollie
I think
Lord.
they're fine. I'm going to go the Cats as well. Friday, the Jordan Dawson Bowl, Sydney hosting Adelaide. Again, this is only a 12.5 point line. The Swans are favourites against the Crom. This is another one where you sort of look at it as 2nd versus 5th. This is a great Friday night game. It's a classic Jersey matchup as well, right? For a Friday night game. This screams like Andrew McLeod versus Paul Kelly kind of gear. So I think I like the Swans at home. But I mean, the only query and qualm I've really got with it is that going all the way out west, being so good in that first half against and then getting absolutely curb stomped and then having to fly home after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how do they respond, Jez? What do you reckon?
I reckon the Crows are going to keep this one close. I think they had a bit of a easy win, and I think that might have been just the tonic they needed, because they were a bit up and down, and then they've sort of had, Tex has got some confidence back, kicked the bag. I don't think they got any injuries out of that. So I think the Swans will win, but I think this one could actually be game of the round. This will be a nail biter. I'm hoping so. Anyway, I love me nail biters on Friday night. But yeah, I think the Crows can keep this one, if not win it, but definitely take them all the way. And I think it'll be a nice little one to set up the weekend for us, Jim.
They beat them by 90 last year at the SCG, the Crom. That's crazy.
Yes.
Absolutely crazy.
I think the one before that, or the year before, was when a Marty party first turned up and kicked 9 or whatever it was.
121 to 90.
They've had some big instances, sort of events, I guess you could say, with these Sydney Adelaide games. So it'll be interesting to see who wins the Ryan Fitzgerald Cup.
I'm going to take the Swans in the end. I think my problems with going west and then coming all the way back, I think Sydney at home will just be still too good. So
and I think Heaney and Grundy are due a big game too, so that could swing. I'm going to stick with Adelaide, but I think there's every chance it could be. That was
actually, one other injury we didn't mention was Rory Laird in the moon boot after that game. Well, during that game. So, but they've got Hugo Hall-Kahan who can come straight back in. He was managed last week. So we'll see what happens there. But I'll still go to the Swans. Port Adelaide are 47.5 point underdogs at home against Freo, which is, I mean, it makes sense considering they're missing a lot of their dudes. And I don't know, like Freo Adelaide Oval. Can you trust him, Jez, to cover the 47.5? I mean, what do you reckon? Yeah.
I think this one could almost be like the North Melbourne game a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's just too many outs for
Way too many.
Way too many, and not just outs, but like their best players. They're probably their three best players, plus the coaches who, they're not getting anywhere near them unless Freo play their reserves.
Yeah, I think this was also like if Freo hadn't looked as good as they did in that second half, you might go, well, maybe, but they look that good. You're like, ooh, yeah. Then we have North Melbourne versus Melbourne. 14.5-point underdogs of the Roos, which is at Marvel. I just have to check because last time I checked, Marvel isn't the MCG, so I think I'm going to have to go the Roos.
Yeah, I might take the D's. I think. Oh, yeah, no, I've got a couple in hand. I'll take the D's just for a point of difference. I think this one could be a cracker or it could be a blowout. And to be honest with you, Jim, I think it could be a blowout either way.
Yeah,
because Melbourne when they have lost, they've really lost. And as you just said, it's not at the MCG, so anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
The possibilities are endless.
I do believe Melbourne have now won away from home, haven't they? They beat Hawthorn in Tassie. So, again, it's Tassie. Anything goes in Tassie. I'm going to go the Roos. That's a man who hates Tassie. I'm going Roos. Jez has got the D's. Then we've got the Collingwood Carlton game. This is a top 10 shaper. If the Blues lose this, we are going to be up a creek without a paddle. The Pies are 6.5-point favourites against the Blues. I'm going to go the Blues. I think there's a few too many holes in this Collingwood team at the moment. Carlton might be able to sneak out a win. If not, heartbreaking loss incoming, and I'll take the 6.5 points and try to get myself a pick.
I'd be interested to find out if Billy Frampton has been suspended or not, because I think that's going to play a part in a segment after this. But I think if he plays, I would say Collingwood. If he doesn't play, I'll say Carlton. So let's assume that the Collingwood bias is real and he plays. I'll go with the Pies.
Nice one. I think Jeremy Howe's also dealing with a groin injury, so who knows who's actually going to be back there for the Pies. Come on, Zeets. Let us know.
Yeah, where are you? Where are you, Tom Morris?
Zeets has gone MIA on this one. He's right there. He's
normally the man on the spot, popping up out of the rubbish bin to get the scoop.
9 minutes ago, still deliberating. Jeez. Anyway.
I'll go with Collingwood for now.
All right, I'm going the Blues. Come on. Keep my season alive. Then we have West Coast, 44.5-point underdogs at home against the Lions. Brisbane were awesome last week.
Yeah, they were. They really were.
I kind of want to go West Coast there here, Jez. 44.5 just feels like a bit of a stretch because we saw the Eagles
way they played against the Dogs.
That's it, right? I think
they're sort of just good. They haven't been great, but they've been good for the last probably 3 or 4. They took Adelaide to the end at home a couple of weeks earlier. Yeah, I reckon West Coast can cover this. I think it might still be 5-6 goals, but it might be one of those games where Brisbane just get the lead early and then cruise and sort of try to maintain and do what's necessary without coming out of it, with too many casualties, I suppose.
So the last 2 years with the Eagles not been much chop. It's been 94-75 for the Lions. That was at the Gabba.
Mm-hmm.
And then the year before that, out west, 93-106 for the Lions. So they've been kind of close. I'll go the Eagles. 44.5.
If it was in Brisbane, if it was in Brisbane, I'd be all over that line. But I think the Eagles can keep it. They might just scrape under, but I've got a little bit of confidence in them.
Yep. Then Sunday, Richmond, Hawthorn. 50 and a half. this is a bloodbath in waiting.
At the G. Yeah.
I was actually at a Richmond Hawthorn game 2 years ago with my good mate Josh Giddy and Dyson Daniels watching Dustin Martin's 350th.
350th, yep.
Yeah, it was.
So it's going to be
a lifetime ago.
17 and no rain. This could be an absolute bloodbath, Jim.
Well, the last time they played, it was 109.44, and I feel like it could easily be that again, if not worse. So
yeah,
I'm going the Hawks.
If the Wizard plays, he might kick 10.
Yep,
I'm going the Hawks too.
All right, Gold Coast Suns versus Western Bulldogs, 3.5 point favourite somehow. The Suns after everything.
Based on what?
I can't answer that. I don't know that it's above the 27th parallel, but I think we've even learned that hasn't really helped them that much this year.
And the Bulldogs were pretty ordinary maybe against West Coast.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's 14th. What is it? 14th versus 7th. That's...
Yeah.
I've got to believe in my beloved Gold Coast one more time, don't I? This is the last time. I'm down 5 beers. I know. I'm down 5 beers. I got to pick some of these back. No, if not, I'll just end up. If I end up owing you a slab, I owe you a slab. Yeah. And then the Bombers versus the Giants to round out the week. With all due respect, Jez, your Bombers looked cooked, done. Pack her up, boys. 1, 2, 3 Cancun last week. 39.5 at home against GWS. I'm still taking GWS.
Same. And I guess that the 1 year that I know we're not doing them this week, but can you sack your interim coach?
I love that. It's one of the great questions. Can you? Should you? Probably.
Should you? Yes. Yeah. I don't hold any hope for anything under 10 goals. So I'm probably going to go to this. I don't know why I do it to myself, but I think one of the kids wants to go. So,
because I think
dad, I suppose.
That's just, I don't know. You can also just throw them to some crocodiles. That's always fun.
Well, maybe I'll try that.
GWS did manage that comeback against Geelong without Lockie Whitfield, who missed with a concussion. So it looks like he's likely to be back for this game as well.
Yep.
To be honest, if I'm GWS, I'd rest him one more week and let Lockie Ash and
100%.
Finn Callahan run rampant. So that should be
probably going to kick a bag, and
kick 8.
He's probably going to get a ton of it. I don't even want to think about it.
Amazing.
Hopefully the kids forget about it and don't want to go.
I like it. Cheaper that way. You are, as I mentioned, it's 78-73 in the picks so far against the spread, so you're up by 5. Not doing too bad. Slevo's Punters Club. I was very, very upset with my pick last week. I thought I was on, and easily so. Logan Morris, 4+ goals. No worries, mate.
He should have kicked that man.
He kicked 2 goals for Jez. What are we doing? I think this is the week, though. I think Harry Mackay plus 3+ is like just a very simple one for me. At the G, Saturday night against the Pies, 3+. I would ladder that all the way to 4, 5, and hope that he goes bang.
I would probably, and I was thinking something similar, but I was also thinking that if Frampton doesn't play, that's definitely going to shorten the odds. But yeah, I think that's not a bad shout, Jim.
Yeah, I think the Harry McFive might be a little bit too much, but yeah, I'd probably get just to it. I think 3 or 4 is easily on the cards if he can just...
I think 3 is his best this year.
Yeah.
Which was last time against Richmond.
And I guess the flip side of that is like Charlie Curnow is in a very nice vein of form at the moment, and they're at home against the Crom. So you could probably go Harry Mackay 3+ and Charlie 3+ and feel good about it. So that's what I reckon I'll do. How about you there, Jez? You missed last week just with the the Sunday overs. The first game was the one that got you, the Dogs West Coast, which should have been should have been the easiest one, but oh well.
Well, I am going to stick to the same game as you, and I'm going to go with the little master to get 32 goals, Nick Dacos. I think he's had even though he played pretty well in the last quarter, he was a bit off his usual self. I think he was tagged pretty heavily early against North, and I think his stat line was like 11 touches by half time, which is very unusual for him. And I think he'll bounce back this week. And I think that if he does so, I think that might be it for Carlton this year.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Nice. All right. Well, I think that might be it. That's the round 18 wrap. That's it from me for my tropicality as well. I'll be back in freezing cold Melbourne for next week's episode.
Back to reality.
Breaks your heart. Breaks your heart. But anyway, she'll be right.
Back to the real world, Jim, with us peasants down here in freezing cold Melbourne.
I don't know if peasants is the right way, but it's just, the tropicality, it really just seeps into your bones. It's not what you were saying before
we started recording, Jim.
Oh, I wish. No, I'm talking about, it's more about it's the vibe of the thing.
Bloody smelly Melbourneites, I'll tell you what.
God, it's good up here.
Guys, trust me, I got you back. I'm freezing with you all.
Love it. All right. Anything else you want to throw in there, Jez?
Nah. Just stay off the rubbish gear.
Yeah. Well,
don't worry about all those other stupid footy sites and podcasts. Just follow us. We'll tell you everything you need to know.
Speaking of the rubbish gear, at 2 different times in the last week and a bit, I've had to buy Tui's Extra Dry because it's the only decent beer that I could get out of the selection I was faced with. It's a rough way to live, I'll tell you. So, yeah. So, for all the tropicality, their beer selection does leave a lot to be desired.
You can't have it all your own way, Jim. You can't have everything.
Anyway, make sure you follow us on all the socials. We haven't been doing much because I've been up here doing absolutely nothing and I've got no Wi-Fi, so that's pretty fun. So
and I've been flat out like a lizard drinking. Not Nick Blakey, an actual lizard.
But we'll be back on it. Don't worry about that. So make sure you subscribe across all your podcast apps, all that good stuff. Rate, star, subscribe. Send us through some yeah-no's for next week as we get to the point in the end of the season. It's going to be very, very fun.
Hell yeah.
But that's it. All right. Until next week, as Jez said, get off the rubbish gear. What are you doing? It's Footy Unfilterated. We'll speak to you next time.
Boy.
Come